All right, everybody, here we go. My turn to read. Of course, I don't have my glasses. That probably would have helped, but we'll go with this. I should be able to do this. Hopefully this camera setup is okay. I'm making it work with what I got, you know? All right, we are on chapter 55. This is day 12. Pages 235 to 256. Right after the fall. Frenchie's butt was killing him. Lots of stones on that slide down, and plants. Everything he'd grabbed had let him go. The way down had taken his shoes. A branch had taken his purse with his birds inside. Now he was under the dark water, in a place of no breathing. Cold was filling his clothes and the spaces between his toes. It seeped into the tunnels of his ears and ached there. Above, he saw the September sun, a shiny blur. Sun, sun, sun. He would like to go up, but his pants were caught by one cuff on something below. Frenchie reached down and tugged. Tried again. Raked his finger across some hurting thing. A bubble went up. He wanted to follow it. With cold fingers, he worked his belt back through the buckle. He popped the snap, pushed the zipper down. His pants let him go. Up, toward that sun. He burst into the breathing place. He lay his body on the top of the water. That's it, Frenchie. Relax and breathe. Sun, sun, sun. The small, flat place. Frenchie floated, and while he floated, he looked through his half-open eyes. The sun was still shining. A few birds flew by in the space between Frenchie and the sun. He was on the wrong side for seeing feather shine. The birds went like dark flickers, like shadows, but not shadows. The cold was taking the ache out of his backside, but it was putting an ache at his temples. He flipped over in the water. He paddled and kicked to where the rock had a spot for him, right below where he had come down. He pulled himself onto the sun-warmed ledge. It was a flat place, like a front step. But no home and no door. There wasn't much room. Only enough for Frenchie, one tiny tree, and a patch of pale green lichen, which he wished was not there. Too scratchy, too peely. Bringing folks in, page 239. The sky has that look that reminds me of all the times I have been late for supper. Of course, it's September and the days are shorter. I already get it. Headquarters will want to pull us off the search before dark. Secret decision. I won't go. Not until we find Frenchie. By the way, I should mention this is from Aurora's perspective now. At 6:30, Pop gets the message. They're bringing the folks in, he says, and the news falls hard on all of us. Gracia gives a nod, like trying to be brave. She and Mom hug each other. They cry a little. They whisper on each other's shoulders, then wipe their faces. Cedar leans around from the pack on Mom's back, asking, "Kay, Mom? Kay?" No, not okay, Cedar. Tree, not. We use this time to rest, all of us lined up on a log. Pop stares at his boots. Mom is hunched. Gracia looks like she's studying her psalms. Even Cedar is silent. I hear Gracia breathe in, then out. Well, I'm going to stay strong for my son. She stands up and looks at Pop. Okay, Ed, what's the plan? What do they say? We finish out this way, he says. He stands and points up in the direction that we've been traveling. We're close to Burt Gray Road. Should come out not far from the school. They'll have a bus waiting to take us all back to Fire and Rec for some supper. Then to our cars from there. We'll start again in the morning. Not me, I say. I'm not stopping. We don't have Frenchie. Aurora, Mom cups her hand on the back of my head. Another hour and it'll be too dark to see. Uh-oh, our eyes will adjust, I say. The dark is only dark if you've been looking at light. You just have to stay out in it. Keep your pupils dilated. Well, I'm not sure about your theory, but I'm not getting on that bus. I'm going back to that land behind the school. It's a feeling that I have. A feeling about Frenchie. There, I said it. I ball up my fists and add, I can't stop searching. Oh, we won't stop, but we need to make sure we're at our best, Gracia says softly. She comes to me and cups her hand around one of my fists. We need food and rest for our bodies and sleep for our brains. She strokes my hand until my fist uncurls. Then she holds my open palm like it's the middle of a sandwich and her hands are the bread. Her eyes pool. We need to dream our best dreams about Frenchie. And tomorrow morning we'll begin to search again. Okay, Aurora? Cedar echoes, K, Awowa? K? Please, Gracia says, her tears spill. I can't say no to her. Pop thinks we have a half hour to go. We walk on. Cedar starts crying, like he's doing it for all of us. I look around for something to give him. Maybe a pine cone, which he'd probably love to throw at me. Instead, I find a stick with a foot-long piece of old man's beard hanging from it. I hand it up to Cedar, on Pop's back now. It makes him so happy he hums. He reaches out of his pack, swishing the stick like a wand. The wispy lichen floats beside him. Cedar dusts the tall boulders, the tree trunks, and me. Now from Frenchie's perspective, pink sun. The sun that had warmed Frenchie and dried his shirt, underpants, and hair was huge now, and pink. Supper time, son. Frenchie looked around him. He did not want to eat lichens, little green pine needles, or tree bark. So he inched right to the edge of the flat spot that held him, made a cup with one hand, and slurped cold water from the quarry. He spilled, but there was lots more if he wanted it. He scooted himself back away from the edge, careful to set his hurting parts down gently. He tucked up and wrapped his arms over his head. He peeked out through the space between his elbows. The pink sun made a rosy glow on the dark water of the quarry. And the rocks, big. And the stones, small. Down, down, down the pink sun dropped. Frenchie watched it all the way. Slice, sliver, dash, done. How far am I reading again? 256. All right. Aurora's perspective, twilight. The trees aren't so thick and the boulders aren't as huge. Looks like another meadow up ahead. Close, close, Pop tells us. He looks at the map on the phone. One last property to cross. We should see the road soon. Soon is usually a good word. But when Pop says it now, I tug on the ends of my hair and don't let go. All seems lost. I feel lost. Soon means we'll stop. How can we do that when we haven't found Frenchie? Then I see something. Wait, what's that? My heart pumps like it's starting me up. There's something in the trees. I bound forward. Keep it in my sights. It's round enough to be a person's head. Right size, right height. And is it moving? I swear I see it moving. I keep clawing forward. Frenchie? Frenchie? Please be you. But it isn't Frenchie. It's a ball-shaped burl on a tree trunk. I drag my fingers across it. Rough old brain-shaped thing. How could I mistake a bump of bark for my best friend? Mom and Pop and Gracia catch up to me. Mom puts her hands on my shoulders, gives them a squeeze. Did you meet with a trickster, my girl? Yeah, I mumble. Sorry, Gracia. Don't be, she says. It's hope that makes us see things, and I won't lose hope. We reach the roadside and we can see other searchers heading to the school. Not far. Gracia pauses. She looks at the horizon line. The sun is gone. A narrow streak of pink is left behind. Gracia, Mom asks, what is it? The The twilight, she says, looking up and all around, seems so inky. And I bet she's thinking what I'm thinking. Her no-talk boy, her son, somewhere out there in the almost dark. Dinner stop. When we get to the fire and rec center, there's food. A lot of food. And long tables all set up. This could be a party, except it's not. The volunteers tell us, "Take a plate. Please eat." Groups of searchers start to fill the tables, stepping over the benches with their full plates in their hands. I don't think I've ever seen the center so busy. Some of the food is not what we eat. Like, there must be 100 boiled hot dogs and big squirty jugs of ketchup and relish. There are 2 giant jars of the, oh, that's a different word, Piccolonius Deli's famous sour pickles. Any other time, I'd go elbow deep for one of those. Tonight, I don't want anything. Mom tries. She steers me toward a tray of mac and cheese. She spoons some out for Cedar, even though she usually keeps him from eating too much dairy, like it will gum up his ears or something. "Aurora, some for you too?" I shake my head. "Baked beans, how about a scoop? This is dinner. You should try to eat some." I flap my hand at her. "I'll get us a table," I say. I find a nice clean one. Some older kids are cleaning and wiping. I sit down on a long bench. I fold my arms on the tabletop and set my forehead on them. I stare down at my lap and my feet. My legs are tired. The weird way, when they can't stop moving. I let them swing and I breathe. The space around my face fills with my own warm air. It's noisy on every side of me. I hear, but don't listen. Don't have to. No one's talking to me. My mind talks to itself and to Frenchie. "What the heck? Where did you go and why? Was it a bird? When? Couldn't you have waited?" I ask myself, what have I not thought of or just forgotten? Frenchie gets ideas kind of the same way I sometimes blurt, and suddenly he slips away. Whenever we've had to look for him, like fetch him for supper, find him nearby, under the overhang at the A-frame. Or staring up a tree beside the house. Or sitting with eyes closed, loving the feel of the sun on his face down at Pebble Nest. What could have been different about today? I feel somebody slip onto the bench beside me. 2 somebodies, one on each side. I feel a hug, arms close around my ribs. I see the sleeve of a bright pink silk tunic top wrapping around across my middle. Lena. She squeezes me. On my other side, Joni puts an arm on my shoulders. Her fingers pat my neck. "Hi," I say. I feel kind of bad for not picking up my head, and I know my neck must be the sweatiest, dirtiest thing on the planet. Then I see something even dirtier under the table across from me. A pair of caked up work boots and muddy cuffs. A deep voice asks, "Is she okay?" I keep my face in my warm space, but think the voice is asking about me. Am I okay? "She misses her friend," says Lena. "Frenchie Livermore is her bestie, and she's his," Joni adds. Now I wonder who wants to know. I feel a hand on my forearm, rough fingers. I pick up my head. Carney Huggins. Lucky for him, I have no words, and for sure no loud ones. "Hey, Aurora," he says. "Want pie?" He slides a paper bowl full of crackled up blueberry pie right against my arm and sticks a spoon into it for me. I could cry, but I'm not a crier. "Thanks," I say. I'm raspy as a frog. "I heard you're the one who saw him." "Wild coincidence," he says, and he shakes his head. "He was fine? Or at least he looked okay?" I ask. "I only got a quick look, but well, I think so." Carney nods. "So listen, keep your chin up, okay?" He doesn't stick around, but turns back to wave as he goes. Mom and Pop and Gracie and Cedar come join Lita and Joni and me. I don't feel good exactly, but I do feel surrounded by good people. Everyone's eating, and I try a bite of the mac and cheese that Mom pushes at me. I pick at it, I see Gracia picking too. She makes a little yum yuck face at me, as if to say it's good, but who can eat? She feels the way I feel. Lena's big sister, Xenia, comes over with a plate of potato and pea samosas. Hey guys, an offering from the food truck, she says. She stays because Cedar is making everyone laugh. He pinches at a slippery baked bean with his fingers and chases it around his plate. Lena says, Aurora, I'm wrapping a samosa for you to go. Joni runs off and comes back with 2 spoons. She hands one to Lena. Come on, Aurora, grab your spoon. We're going to help you eat that pie. Later, Anzie Maylard comes over to say goodbye. Gracia, if you hear something in the night, no matter what time, please call, she says. We are close by. Otherwise, we'll see you all in the morning, first light. Pop asks if Annie could give him a ride to our minivan, which is still parked at the side of Pumpkinville Road. Sure, we've got the truck, but we'll squeeze you in, says Annie. I'll take the middle. I watch Pop go. The back of his shirt is pressed with the shape of Cedar's carrier straps. Carney holds the door open for Pop and Annie, then he looks over his shoulder at me and gives a nod. Mom says we should clean up our table and be ready for when Pop gets back. I'm glad to have something to do. I gather up our men and make my way to the dish tubs and trash cans. While I'm there, I hear my name. Aurora! It's Mr. Menkes, Frenchie's classroom aide. He motions to me. He's sitting at a table with a man and a woman. They're young like Mr. Menkes, but taller. I go to them, and right away I see that they have a whole lot of gear with them. Serious outdoorsy stuff like packs with neon reflectors and loops of rope and straps hitched up to carabiners. Mr. Menkes introduces us. Aurora, meet my friends, Mr. Riesick and Ms. Schneisick. That's a unique name. Really? I say, sheesh, your friends rhyme. Oh, Riesick and Schneisick. That's how I should have said that. All 3 of them let out snorts. I know, Mr. Menkes says. Like I said, I should have my glasses. What were the chances? Hey guys, Aurora is Frenchie's best friend. I'm talking superlative. It sounded like something good, so I smile. Mr. Riesick tells me, hey Aurora, I know you have to call him Mr. Menkes because he's a teacher, but you can call me Dave. Ms. Schneisick points to herself and hurries to swallow. And I'm Jordana, she says. We know this has been a hard day. So sorry. Dave says, but listen, we're going out right after we fuel up here. Out? To look for Frenchie? Yep. In the dark? I ask. Yep. Jordana taps her headlamp and it flashes. She puts her pack and a row of lights blinks across the strap. Oh, she pats her pack, sorry. And a row of lights blinks across the strap. Dave and Jordana are my climbing buddies, Mr. Menkes tells me. We took search and rescue training together this summer. For real? I can hardly believe my ears. Yep, I called them to come help us find Frenchie. All for one and one for all, Jordana pumps her fist. Can you train me? I ask. Can I get out there with you? I wish, Mr. Menkes says, but I'm afraid there's more to it than we could teach you in one night. A lot of parts and equipment, and you have to be 18. Yeah, I figured, I say. How long are you going to search? Through the night, says Dave. Until when? Till we find him, Mr. Menkes says. He holds up his elbow, and I knock it with mine. All right, where am I at? I'm at page 253. I've got 3 more pages. Before bed. How to get through these next hours until daybreak, Gracia says. Her voice is shaky. She holds her hands in 2 small fists against her chest. Her face is a map of worry lines. Stay here with us, Mom tells her. We'll make up the sofa for you, Papa tells her. Or my bed, I say. You can have my bed tonight. I mean it. Thank you, but I need to be home in case Frenchie turns up. And he could. I sit straight when I say it. I want it to be true. Sorry for interrupting, but he knows the way home. He always does. Silently, I think, then why isn't he back? And then I hear it in my mind the bad thing I have not been able to say. What if it's because he can't get back? Gracia comes to me, her arms open. She's forcing a tiny smile. I can tell. Quick hug, Aurora, she asks, which is like promising not to overdo it, because she knows I'm a short hugger, same as she knows Frenchie rarely takes a hug at all. For good luck, she adds. We squeeze each other, and I make sure I don't let go first. Then Mom walks Gracia next door. Their shoulders touch the entire way. I see them in the light from the porch lamp. Reminds me of the day we all met at the bus stop, the day all of us started to be best friends. It's impossible, I think, impossible for us to go to our beds knowing that Frenchie's not in his. All right, my last chapter. The dream from Frenchie's perspective. Frenchie Livernois, I don't know how to say that last name. I just try my best. Frenchie Livernois fell asleep in the dark right where he was, all hunkered up close to the wall of the narrow lodge. Soon he was dreaming. In the dream, he was very small enough to be sitting way down inside of a bowl, a lot like the old Ed Petriquin used when he made pancakes in the kitchen at Aurora's house. The needlepoint purse was high and away. Frenchie wanted his birds, so he called to them. He made sounds in his dream. One by one, papers came blowing out of the purse. One by one, birds lifted off the papers into the air. They flew. One by one, they came down into the bottom of the bowl and perched where Frenchie could see them so well. He saw their knees tucked up under their wings. He saw every feather stripe and the holes where the feathers grew out of the bird skin. He heard the birds breathing through their hollow bones. He saw their purple beating hearts, and he saw their long, naked bird toes right next to his. Well, that's the end for me. There are 3 more days left for this book. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the book.